Today, we're going to be reacting to a reaction to one of our videos. So it's titled, Why Your Perfect Body Won't Fix Your Life. And he reacts to our treatment video, how you get treated based on your physique. Alright, so we're off to a good start. He's got a mustache and I have a mustache, so let's do it.
So this video popped up on my feed a few days ago titled, How People Treat You by Your Physique. And I saved it because this is a topic that gets talked about constantly. And frankly, it's an idea that can lead a lot of guys down a really destructive path if it's not handled with care. There's a dominant narrative online right now, especially in the corners of the manosphere or the red pill space, that a shredded aesthetic physique is the ultimate cheat code to life. That if you just dial in your body to look a certain way, the respect of men and the attraction from women will be automatically unlocked.
So I don't think anyone specifically says that it's the secrets to literally everything. I don't know if I could actually find a clip where someone says that, but yes, I can agree there is a narrative out there that your physique will improve your life, and we preach the exact same thing. I think no one can deny that it will improve your life. However, once again, I don't think we've ever said in a video that it's literally the secrets to everything.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of an issue with creators on YouTube, and maybe we're part of it as well, where people obviously have their niche. So that's going to be what they talk about. So if you click on our channel, it seems like all we think is physique just matters, but fitness and building your physique is simply our niche on YouTube. And realistically, nobody has the time to watch everyone's content fully in length. So everyone always just gets kind of snipped out of context and summarized.
Every single problem in your life. My own experience, however, has taught me a very different lesson. A powerful body is the physical byproduct of a powerful mind. It is the evidence of discipline and the self-respect that you forge in private. It's something you build for yourself first and foremost. Look.
And yeah, that's basically what we say every time we even talk about physique treatment. It's the fact that building a physique is just an example of the kind of person you are.
I'm 21, okay, and just 2 years ago, I was a skinny fat kid, smoking, totally lost and in the deepest pit that I've ever been in. I genuinely hated myself. I've lived what it feels like to have zero respect for the man in the mirror. And the process of climbing out of that hole by building my body taught me that the real prize is the person that you become to earn it. I haven't watched this video yet. I'm going in blind with you, and we're going to react to it together. I'll give you my raw, unfiltered thoughts, and let's see if these guys offer a genuine blueprint for building self-respect, or just another ideology that keeps you trapped, seeking approval, just like the rest of the manosphere or red pill space.
How do you get treated for having an elite level physique? Today, we're going to be going over how you get treated based on how attractive your physique.
Okay, we're starting off strong, okay? That is a good physique. Now, of course, lighting, pump, clearly at the gym.
Okay,
that doesn't matter.
This video was filmed a long time ago, and the clips we used to use were filmed from about a year ago. So I've come a long way since these videos. So if my physique's good in these videos, I'm pretty happy with that.
Okay, even with all of that considered, that is a really good natural physique that a lot of people will spend years trying to obtain. So we're already off to a banger start.
Yeah, I'm glad this guy acknowledges that. So many people overestimate what can be achieved naturally. They think, obviously because online, there's just so many examples of top 1% genetics, they think that's the standard.
Yeah.
When realistically, most guys are underwhelmed with the results they'll get.
Let's hope the advice is as good as the training.
So I've created this really simple to understand drawing that determines how attractive your physique is, and then tells you how you'll be treated in your real world life. Let's keep it a bean. Most guys started
Let's keep it a bean.
the gym because they want certain
Okay, this guy's good. This guy's physique is also really good.
things. So
It makes me cringe as well because that was so long ago.
So long ago,
My
bro.
physique's improved so much.
real world results: attraction from women, respect from men, and just generally feeling better about themselves. However,
Okay, feeling better about yourself, that's important. That's usually not mentioned. Okay, we're looking internally here. That's base. We're looking good so far.
along the line, usually they get led astray down the gym cell path. They turn into a perma-bulking gym cell, maybe even taking copious amounts of steroids to keep up with the ever-growing standards online, which is why we need to
Base, true, okay? Don't take steroids unless you are at the highest level of competition. You've already beat all of your natural path, okay? But if you're still not at that point, there's no point taking steroids.
be so autistic and draw diagrams like this to explain the benefits of just having a nice, lean, aesthetic physique. We call it the AAA physique. So we can see here at level 1, you're at rock bottom. And down below, we can see what this might look like. So if you are truly at rock bottom, this means you're severely overweight, you're severely skinny, and like chronically pale, like an A4 sheet of paper, right? And
Okay,
when
base,
you are
not a
at
good
rock
thing.
bottom, women and even people in general treat you like you don't exist. You are completely invisible. You will have the feeling that you just don't exist. You're not important, okay? You get no respect from men, and you get micro-bullied in every situation. You might be the butt of a joke at work. You might be constantly teased about certain things.
Okay, let's be real, okay? If you are severely lacking in the looks department, you will need to invest more skill points into personality, okay?
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, yeah, you have to compensate with your personality, but oftentimes that's a byproduct of you not looking the best. A lot of guys get confused with this. It's like you're not positively reinforced by having a good personality when you're ugly. I see this all the time, and this was, me personally, I explained my story in this video. Oftentimes, uglier people have like pretty revolting personalities as a response to how they get treated in the real world.
Yeah, they're a bit bitter usually. And like personality is so broad. Like what's a good personality? It just doesn't really make much sense, that argument to me.
That is a fact of the world. It will be a little harder for you to make friends. The halo effect is real. Like, looks do matter to a certain extent, but it might also not be the worst thing. Okay, sometimes you do need a little bit of character building, and there is nothing like a bad spawn to build a good character. Okay.
Things, or you're never involved in the joke. Once again, you're at the rear end of the joke. You're a jester, so you're constantly finding that you have to even make fun of yourself, be extremely flamboyant.
Hey, don't make fun of yourself. Self-deprecation is not based. Everyone can see it, and it's always cringe. Humor is important, okay? And humor will take you a long way. But humor is one of those things that you do need a little bit of IQ and especially a lot of EQ to be able to land. So if you have humor, you're probably like 90% of the way there.
And like self-deprecating, this is a jester. That's what a jester is. And you're always a safe friend for women. You're never the guy that is going there at 1 a.m., smashing, and then going home.
Casual sex is not a flex, okay? Being a girl's...
Yeah, so I agree with that, guys, and I've mentioned this in previous videos. Actually, every video where I do mention that, I always say, if you've been the guy that's been in that environment, you know that you kind of just get over it. You get sick and tired of it. Like, at the start, that's what you chase. You chase, like, yo, I'm going to get all the girls, and then you realize it's just very unfulfilling, and it just leads you really nowhere.
We've actually mentioned it a lot in other videos. I don't think we even mentioned it in this video, is that it's not like the most amount of casual sex that you should be looking for, but it's the ability to be able to get that and knowing that you have abundance. And it does a lot for even just long-term relationships, knowing that, you know, you have the ability to go and find another partner or find a woman that is best suited towards you, rather than having this scarcity mindset where you have to just sort of latch onto whatever comes to you first because you don't have like a wide array of options.
That's like a massive trap I see guys fall into all the time. You know, they just sort of pick what they can get. And I know it sounds very oversimplified, but that's literally what happens. And I see it a lot, especially when I was working at jobs. And the guys I would work with would literally complain about their wives all day, and it never made any sense to me. It's like, well, isn't that the wife you chose? Isn't that who? It's like, oh no. They didn't actually choose her, you know? It sort of just happened to be that way.
Having casual sex is literally just like personal preference, whether you actually want to do it or not. But whether you have the ability to do it or not is not in your control. You need to build yourself up.
Being a girl's third dick appointment that night is not a flex, okay? For men and for women. You know, men, I think it's normal in the manosphere, the red pill sphere, to look down on a woman that has a lot of partners. But trust me, women will have the same exact opinion of you, okay? A man who...
I don't entirely agree with that. You know, they will always say to you, yeah, it's a bad thing. But in my own personal experience, they get excited at the fact that you've had a lot of experience, and they actually find a lot of safety in that as well.
I don't think women look down on promiscuous men.
A man who has slept with a lot of women is not respected by other women. You have this empty part of your soul. You are missing something in life. And filling that hole, well, by filling someone else's hole is not the way to go, okay? That is the shortest way to have an unfulfilling and depressing life. Soon enough,
I just want to say as well, it very depends on the individual. Like, everyone is completely different in terms of sexual relationships. There are some women, yes, that will look down at you for having a promiscuous past. They'll still allow you into their lives. And there's also some women that, you know, do get excited at that fact. And especially with men as well, it's completely up to you what you want to do with your partner selection. You know, realistically, there's some guys that I know find great fulfillment in sleeping around and just having a good time. And they'll do that their entire lives. They don't care. They'll just find that to be the best time ever. And there are some guys that will just want one partner and that's it. And they're completely satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we aren't a monogamous species, so...
Find yourself in a Bonnie Blue queue, and trust me, that is not a place where you want to be, okay? Settle down, look for a girlfriend, look for a wife, which is 100% harder. It's 100% harder looking for a meaningful relationship than one-night stands. But trust me, it is so much more worth it, okay? I'm not an abstinence guy. I'm not a religious guy, okay? And I have been around the block to a certain degree, but I've also been in long-term committed relationships, and let me tell you, not only is it far more meaningful, even the intimacy, okay? The intimacy is...
Yeah, so this guy understands because he's been through that phase, but you have to get through that phase to really understand it. Otherwise, you'll just be endlessly chasing it. That's why I never say, don't sleep around. I tell you, do what the fuck you want to do, right? You'll learn it eventually. It's hard for this guy to say because he's already been through that phase.
Yeah, what I don't like, though, is just guys who haven't been able to get options and be able to do these things and then have an opinion on it and say, you know, preach these things.
You are the safe friend that she tells you about, that guy.
This thing of not wanting to be a safe friend is weird as too, okay? Being a threat or a dangerous man to a woman, that being an aspiration is really sus, okay?
Yeah, so I more draw this to, like, let's say you have a woman that you like and you're being the friend because she's literally just putting you in the friend zone, and then at the same time she's getting some other guy over, not telling you about it, and then you're just led astray doing all these things for her. Yeah. It just comes down to, like, you're wasting your time, basically.
And that is not, Batman could not waterboard that out of me, okay? Let me just put it that way.
And then lastly, just low status in general. You don't have like a massive friend group and you find it really hard to make friends. This is the brutal reality. This is the truth. And I don't say this to be mean or to be overly brutal. I tell you this because we preach the truth. We preach the...
Every time someone tells you you that they're brutally honest, I always feel like they put more emphasis on the brutality of the honesty than the honesty itself. That's not the case here. I don't think anything they're saying is insane, but this is like a thing that gets me a little bit when people say, I'm a brutally honest guy. I just say it like it is, okay?
A lot of it is also, you know, clip farming and things like that for YouTube. You do need to be a little bit black and white.
There are ways that you can communicate the truth without being a dickhead, okay? These guys are not being dickheads. I think they're being fine. I don't think any of the language they use is insane, but just remember that, okay? Be a good person. Be good to the ones around you, and you will find that they will be good to you too.
Real realities of the world. And I think it's better to know the real truth than to live in a constant delusion that most guys are living in. This is what we teach here at the Harley Twins Foundation.
Okay, sorry to pause again. I'm spam pausing. There's a lot to say on this matter, okay? Like I said before, if someone tells you that they are here to tell you what the real world looks like, or they're here to just preach the truth, again, I feel like they put a lot more emphasis on the preaching part of that statement than the truth part. Just as a general heuristic or rule of thumb to carry you in life, anytime someone tells you they preach the truth, or anytime someone tells you they have ultimate truth, always be a little bit suspicious, okay? Always, that's never, you know, traditionally you don't find the most...
Yeah, and, you know, we don't always say that we know everything. I mentioned in previous videos, obviously, that, you know, I'm 21, just like this guy. I'm still figuring it out, right? But I am going to preach what I believe is the truth, just like what this guy is doing, preaching what he believes is the truth. And I think it is good that we have these, like, debates and videos. I don't like that everything's just an echo chamber these days. And I try to really split that up by putting my own authentic viewpoint in my videos. So when I'm saying, like, this is the brutal truth, this is the brutal reality, that's what I believe. And I can't tell you otherwise. I can't tell you anything else.
Making those comments, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Because yeah, if you're familiar with this channel, you understand it's like, it's a cope-free zone here. We don't cope. We just say how it is, and we try to work to fix these things. And the thing is, like, the first step to any of this stuff is just self-awareness and understanding that you are suffering. Because a lot of people convince themselves that they're not. They convince themselves that things...
True, there's a lot of coping going on, okay? Some of this coping is the casual sex stuff, okay? You're trying to convince yourself that that's fun or whatever, but yeah, it's true. The first step to true self-improvement, or the first step to being happy, is recognizing A, your current state, but B, the space that you can still go. This is super true, okay? Don't lie to yourself.
Things were right, but they could get a lot better. And another thing is, we were here, man. We were here. I was decently popular in school. I had a lot of friends. I've always had a girlfriend and women in my life. And then I went through a really bad period where I got like really chubby, unattractive. I shaved my head. I was doing a lot of drugs. I'll bleep it out because we can't say it. And I completely went off the rails. And I lived the experience of being a low appeal, low SMV male.
Okay, sorry to spam pause, but I think it's very telling when someone lists the problems that they have, not just for what they say, but also what they don't say. What he seems to be describing, not to like psychoanalyze or anything, but he's probably describing like a depressive episode. I'm not trying to pathologize, but I'm saying like for a period of time, probably not the happiest individual, okay? Nobody that's incredibly happy turns to drugs, shaves their heads, whatever. Like nobody happy does these things. Again, these are all ways that we can fill this void that we have. Not necessarily a spiritual void. I'm not a very spiritual person myself, but there is a void of purpose. Something's missing. And typically we turn to the external world for this a lot because it's easier to look out than to look in. I mean, you look out every day of your life, right? This can also partially be an external locus of control. So the way I describe a locus of control is whatever you...
Yeah, so essentially he's correct. That was like a depressive episode and that was manifesting into external things, obviously. Once again, I mentioned this all the time in previous videos, but I don't expect this guy to go through all of our fucking videos. We've got hundreds of videos at this point. But yeah, obviously, yeah, external is going to manifest into internal. Internal will manifest into external.
Feel like you have control over. For example, most people probably say you don't have control over the weather, so that exists outside of your locus of control. You can have two different types of locus of control. You can have a very internal locus of control where you think you actually control a lot of things. You are in control, or you can have a very external locus of control. So you see this a lot in, not to specifically hate on anybody, but very obese people usually say like, oh, I have a thyroid problem, or I have this problem, whatever, my metabolism is usually really low. And these are all like external locus of control sayings. This is all in...
Oh yeah, so it's just another way of saying like victim mentality. It's a very complicated way of saying people that have a victim mentality. I mean, I'm not too into like the psychological side of things. I'm just a very logical guy. I just see it as you're either looking for excuses for the decisions you make, or you take accountability and you look internally to fix those things.
External locus of control mindset. And what he was describing were very external characteristics. So friendships, women, drugs, all of these things. He didn't say I was depressed, I was lonely, I didn't have respect for myself like I did in the intro. Instead, what he did is he listed a bunch of external qualia. And that's usually a red flag. Because again, that means you'll probably turn to external fixes for what you think are external issues. For example, if the way you fix your depression is
like
only
by... I've mentioned this in previous videos. I'm not going to say in every video, just repeat the exact same shit. It's also just easy for the viewer to understand a visual representation of what depression looks like, what being stuck in a rut looks like.
Yeah.
So
it's an easier way for the viewer to relate to things that's happening around in their life, to be able to look internally, because most people never look internally until they actually realize that something's wrong. So if we're pointing out, I'm doing this and this and this, and that was because something internal was going wrong, then they can look at their lives and say, shit, maybe I'm actually in the same spot because yeah, like you were saying, people look externally.
Changing how you look, which is 100% a valid way, right? Mental problems are sometimes and downstream of physical problems and the other way around, right? There's a symbiotic relationship going on here. But if your only fix is really those external things, again, that probably won't fix your issues. You're just going to build a house on very weak foundations, which is something you definitely don't want to do. Something else here, he said, which was SMV, which I think means sexual marketplace value, sexual market value.
You know what it means, man. Like, you know what it means.
Yeah, I hate when people sort of dance around these things or they act like, oh, it's cringe, I don't want to talk about it, oh, I don't know what that means. Yes, you do, bro. You're in this space, you make videos, you know exactly what all this stuff means, and I don't like, yeah, he's input the word cringe at the end. I don't see anything cringe about it. I just think it's a way to summarize a set of things.
Again, your goal shouldn't be to fuck people, okay? Whether those are men or women.
Fucking sucks. And we get tons of comments of people saying like, oh, well, that's so superficial, that's so surface level. But here's the thing, you're in a superficial world. And I was once like a...
Okay, every time someone says we live in this world, that is also very telling of the way they feel, okay? There's, again, I don't want to dump psych terms, especially when society is way too comfortable wielding and using psych terms as weapons. But I feel like this is a case of projection. You experience the world through your lenses, right? You experience the world through your mind. There's no real other way to experience the world. You can't go into spectator mode and just float around, right? Which means the way you feel like the world is, unless it's based on empirics or objective measurements, is usually the way.
Yeah, objective measurements, and that's what we use for all of our videos. Like, oftentimes we always pull up statistics or data to back up what we're saying. Honestly, and to be 100% transparent, I know he doesn't like when I say that, but with all of our videos, we base them off data. You know, real world studies that have been conducted. That's what we'll always form our opinion on. Like Will said, very logical people. I really don't believe that anything we're saying on the whiteboard is projecting.
You feel. So for example, when I was really depressed, I thought that a lot of people were like I remember walking outside when I was really depressed, and I'm sure you can empathize with this if you've been in that mental space, and the way you feel like other people are thinking is very, very different to when you're in a happy state. I remember I used to like...
I agree with that though.
Yeah, that is very true. I did see someone say something on Instagram before, and it was the fact that if you have like a good set of morals and expectations for yourself, you will expect other people to have that same moral character. And when you're like a good guy with good intentions, you expect everyone else to have good intentions, and then you'll get thrown off when bad things happen to you or when people do you dirty in certain ways, because that's not something you would ever do to someone. And I actually really did relate to that. So I think if I was like, I know he's like trying to psychoanalyze the video, and if I was projecting, I think I'd actually have a fairly positive projection of the world. But sadly, when I look at data and when I look at statistics, it's actually usually the contrary to what I'd want to expect. So usually my videos actually go against my own bias, but I just like using statistics and being logical.
I think a good point to make as well is this is like an attractive guy, right? And even when he was in his like depressive episode, his story looked to be very similar to mine. He was still like a decent looking guy. So it is hard to actually grasp the reality of someone that is unattractive and that is truly in need of a transformation. And that's why I always pull in real world data and statistics.
And I will also say this, if what we say on the whiteboards or in these videos was just a representation of what happened to me, like when I was going through like my like depressive episode, I was chopped, I wasn't in shape, I was getting laid just fine. Honestly, I didn't really have too many issues in that department. But I know, according to data, I'll throw it up, a large portion of men our age are not getting play, and they're depressed, suicide rates at an all-time high, and guys can't find relationships. That's the data. It didn't happen to me. I never had an issue. So I'd love to be able to project that in these videos, but that's not what's going on, unfortunately.
People watch, and I used to think like, oh, this person's judging me, or this person is like unhappy, whatever. You have all of these like blue filters on your glasses, but when you're happy, you see the world with these rose-colored lenses. I mean, we see that in relationships, right? That's a big saying. You're seeing the world through rose-colored lenses or rose-colored glasses. So when someone describes the world as a very superficial world, that probably signals to me that they're a very superficial person.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I am a pretty superficial person, if I'm being honest, because I see things for how they are.
But of course, this video is a purely superficial video because it's about how people treat you based on your external looks. So I'm not expecting anything else. But I think it's just really important to put that out.
Yeah, it's good that he didn't expect this to be like a psychology video.
Up there,
heavy blue pillar as well, and I was also very naive.
Oh my god, the blue. Well, I'm still, like we're beating a dead horse here.
And I thought that surely the world can't be that superficial, but it is. That's just how things are. Name an ugly actor that isn't a comedian. By the way, guys,
bro, come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So you're saying that to prove that we live in a superficial world, I'm going to point to the most superficial industry, and specifically to roles where your entire character is dictated by other people, thus removing all of your personality out of it, and tell me an attractive person that plays those roles. Like,
it all comes down to like what you perceive to be important, right? If like status is desirable for you, if being popular or building like a personal brand or something like that is important to you, looks play a massive role in that. The data doesn't lie once again.
And he did make a decent point, the fact that we did point to a very superficial industry, but then I also have to ask you, which industry isn't superficial, right? Whether you want to climb the ranks at your corporate job or the dating market is one of the most superficial, it's not an industry, but superficial endeavors, I guess you could call it. I'd like to ask you what's not superficial. You know, if you're more attractive, if you're taller, they always have more success, even in the corporate world. Your online presence is more important than ever now and is only going to become more important. And I'd argue that's even more superficial than Hollywood. It's only going to become a more superficial world, unfortunately.
Yeah, we preach it all the time.
Hello? What the what am I meant to say, bro? We live in a superficial world, and to prove that, tell me a model that isn't attractive. Like, okay, bro, like, I don't know, I guess I can't. I'm sorry. Like, what? That's like saying, looks don't matter at all. Tell me one attractive person that's won the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, it's like, these are completely unrelated things. I don't see the connection that you're making here.
The comprehensive program to build the AAA physique just got dropped to the...
Oh my god, now we're selling.
Don't sell a course! No! He's gonna sell a course! Alright, you can talk about me, but don't talk about my business.
Of course. Okay, I don't know if I can make it to this video. Listen, I started this video being as charitable as possible. Okay, you saw that.
Yeah, we're a charity.
We're
guys.
a quarter of the
That's
way.
how the world works. We're a charity.
Guys, we make videos because, you know, for the love of the game, we don't need to pay rent. I'll just work a job, you know.
That would be more authentic for us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that actually. We should work a job we hate and not promote our products.
Great idea. I mean, I don't know this guy personally, but I just know tons of YouTubers that sort of do this style of content. They have this bias against, you know, obviously having your own product, but then they'll accept tons of sponsorships that don't even 100% align with what they're doing. You know, if I want to help people the most, what I do is I help them make fitness transformations because that's what I know best. That's how I provide the most value to the world.
I don't know if I can finish this. You know what? Let me just tell you this, okay? I like coaches and I like personal trainers because I think something that is incredibly important to achieving a better physique or to achieving better fitness is motivation. And some people lack that intrinsic or internal motivation and they need more of an external motivator. And that's where the coaches and personal trainers come in. That's completely valid to me. I completely agree with that. Now, if someone's saying, I need a personal trainer because I don't know how to train, or I need a coach because I don't know how to eat properly, I don't know how to live properly, I don't know what exercises to do. Anytime it's an information-based problem, you are never going to succeed for two reasons. One, the information is fully available out there, and the person that's probably giving you this information is probably not going to be the most well-equipped person to do this, okay?
Yeah, so the information is obviously all out there. You can download a training split from ChatGPT. You can look it up on Google Images. But I tell you what, it takes a very long time to get a cohesive set of information that all aligns towards your goal, right? I was trying to learn about fitness for years. For years, I was trying to piece together parts of the puzzle from different sources. You know, this guy was telling me this guy was telling me this. It's very easy to just invest in someone's full transformation program and you know everything and you've got a clear goal. It matters more that you can just align yourself with one person's system and trust in that system and get like a clear structure to actually move forward with your transformation rather than just trying to piece together random bits of information from across the internet.
Most personal trainers that I know all about lifting, okay? They don't know how to build an aesthetic physique. They know how to get you to move around and feel like you're doing work. They don't know how to actually, they don't know the science behind lifting. Number two, if you are seeking external information from an individual, you are being either lazy or not creative, not even creative. You don't know how to look for quality information. So when that information starts failing you, you won't be able to progress.
And this is when it comes to like actually trusting in someone's experience, right? I mean, yeah, you can be creative and you can try learn it all yourself and go through the PubMed studies and try work it out. It's going to take you years. It simply is. Courses or fitness programs are simply just a way to fast track the information. And I mean, even in our school group, it's a low ticket product, but you can talk to us one-on-one. Next to no one else offers that.
Every single piece of information that you need to build a solid physique, to build a really good physique. I dare to say at least 8 out of 10 physique is going to be freely available online. I'd go as far to say a 10 out of 10
completely free, guys. But when you don't pay attention. We have guys that come in and they've been doing research for years. I'm talking years. And then it's not until they actually come into our program that they make a before and after transformation, like a proper before and after transformation. I mean, all this dude would have to do is just go to the website and he could see all the transformations that are there and see everything that's in it and see that they get to talk to us one-on-one as coaches. We have done the coaching thing. We have done one-on-one coaching before. We put it into a more optimized, systemized process that works better to get transformations. Why would we do the most low leverage thing? We hop on calls with them, we talk to them, we figure out solutions to their problems.
Now, if you want to start getting into more technical periodization things or like super specific sports-based info, then I completely understand going for a coach or buying a book, something like that. But anytime someone's selling you information, it's always a scam, okay?
What?
Yeah, it's always a scam, guys. Always a scam.
Okay, that is the most most brain dead take I've ever heard.
For instance, right, when I was learning editing, I would buy like editing courses on how to do specific things or templates and things of that nature, right? Not one of them was a scam. I've never been scammed buying courses, and I've bought a lot.
And if that was the case, that means the entire education system would be a scam. No, yeah, I argue university is a scam. It's vastly overpriced. But you can't say people don't learn things and acquire careers from it. Like, what? It's one of the biggest industries in the world.
Yeah. I don't know why there's such a hive mind around just that one specific thing that courses are a scam. It's like, I don't know.
But if you sell like a physical product, it's fine.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, if I sell an ebook, it's a scam, right? If I print it off, go to the publishers and start shipping it out to everyone, doing the most low leverage thing possible, then it's not a scam. I don't know.
Always.
Price of less than fucking Netflix. This is our gift to you from all the support you've been showing us recently.
Especially monthly price. Like, this is something you should only pay to have once, okay?
So I think this is just an honest mistake. He thinks it's just like an ebook or something. No, like you get access to us. You pay monthly because as you stay in there monthly, you keep getting access to us, right? You're not going to pay a one-time fee and get access to us one-on-one forever. That's not really how it works.
Yeah, and if you're struggling to find information online for fitness, I'm going to leave a bunch of creators that I like down in the description down below. Super reliable guys, you can trust them. Of course, don't take anything anybody says as gospel, not even anything I say. Think for yourself, but these are really, really, really good starting points to understand how to pursue fitness a little better. And they're free.
Yeah, our YouTube videos are completely free. You know, that's why we offer the next step, and that's why our churn rate is so low. I'll give you guys a bit of insight. Our churn rate is below 5%, meaning guys in there stay for at least 20 months on average. So you tell me, man, you tell me, if it was a scam, why would they not just leave the group? I think we've issued 2 refunds out of the hundreds of members that we've got, and it's because of their own mistakes. If it's such a scam, then why are there people in there that are continuing to pay us? Like, are you insinuating that our subscribers are retards, or?
Yeah, but I think it's just kind of an honest mistake on his end. And yeah, there is a lot of guys in the industry that do make courses look bad.
It's essentially the complete...
Okay, so, of course, bro. AI generated images. It looks like AI generated text because the emojis, but again, I'm just spitballing here, but obviously AI generated images.
Whoa, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, it's just more efficient. I'm not going to sit there and waste my time on Photoshop doing up the module fucking images, because that's not what helps people, you know? The content that's inside is what helps people.
Without even seeing the rest, I guarantee you that whatever plan they're going to give you, whether it be diet, fitness, whether it be just information, is going to be fully AI generated.
Yeah, he can guarantee you that, guys. He can guarantee you everything in there is AI generated. I want you to join. I'll refund you the money, but just join and see that nothing is AI generated. And we've literally got video walkthroughs of us sitting here and going through everything in detail. So yeah, for you to guarantee that is just hilarious.
Yeah, that's a wild guarantee to make, bro, considering we literally sat on this couch for hundreds of hours filming content for the course. And we also built an app to help people track their lifts. We never give out rigid plans either. We give them advice on building their own plan based around their own life. The fact is, we know what we're doing, right? We know what we're doing. We know we're good coaches. And that's why when people come and criticize our products, we can just laugh. Honestly, we can just laugh because they can make assumptions, and obviously the rest of the industry sort of forms their assumptions, which is unfortunate. But I mean, the churn rate speaks for itself.
And I'm not saying that because I think these guys are bad or evil, but it's because the information that they're probably going to give you is going to be so rudimentary and so basic that even AI could do a good job of telling you this information. Remember, AI is free.
So then he kind of contradicts himself. He says, if AI does a good job at it, then why is that even a bad thing?
And not to mention the point before, when you pay attention. Usually when guys are investing in the program, it's more of like a mental shift that they've made. They've now invested in their transformation. They've joined a community, and a community is most of the value here because they get access to all the other guys that are trying to do the same thing.
Okay, there's even open source models out there. If you don't even want to trust online people, trust the AI superintelligence. Dr. Mike type.
Protocol to build the max appeal.
Okay, we're gonna start reading. The first thing I see, really, semen retention and nofap. There is no research, to my knowledge, out there that exists that shows any efficacy of semen retention, nofap, and increasing testosterone. Okay.
And if he was in the module, he would understand that's exactly what I said in the module.
It doesn't seem to have any long-term effects on testosterone. However, masturbation or other sexual activity may lead to short-term increases in testosterone, as you can see here, and it would also appear that short-term abstinence from sexual activity can increase testosterone levels as well.
When guys make assumptions, it does make them look silly, because in that video I go over, does semen retention and nofap have an effect on testosterone? I go through all the studies, I go through all the literature, evidence, anecdotal experience, and create a conclusion based off that. The conclusion that I based off that in that module specifically was, I said, yeah, no noticeable changes in testosterone long term.
Yeah, I don't even know why people bother making these assumptions and going into great detail dismantling a product when they don't even have access to the product to review it.
Yeah, if I was this guy, I would have probably spent some money to look through it first so I didn't look like stupid on the internet, but you know.
Absolutely zero. That is brain rot, and anytime someone mentions it, it's always a very, very big red flag. That's like you're on like watching Hamza tier type brain rot.
Physique, including everything.
Okay, we've got workout plans. I want to start with a 249 grams of protein?
I will give him this, guys. This was early access to our app. And this is when we're still developing it, and it says that in like bold writing inside the program. We are still developing it. That's why we haven't published it to the App Store. So I know this guy's going to go through it and like pick apart at the app. It says early access in every place that you can find it. And what's funny is these aren't even set programs. Like it customizes it for your lifestyle, for your goals, whether you're cutting, bulking, maintaining. So
yeah, this isn't a rigid program. This was a test profile on the app. And I know he's freaking out, like, look at him, he's about to burst a fucking blood vessel. 249 grams of protein is not a crazy amount.
Yeah.
If you're over 200 pounds, which this diet is for 3,300 calories, which would likely be for someone well over 200 pounds, 250 grams of protein is not excessive at all, right? It's maybe on the higher end. If this was someone that was maybe 230, 240 pounds and 3,300 was a deficit, 250 would be the minimum.
3,300 calories at 84 kg? Dude, these are 100% AI generated numbers. There's no way a human being wrote this shit down, bro. Today's workout, incline bench, dumbbell, shoulder press, cable flies. Okay, this is all fine. 273 grams of protein from high protein overnight oats, classic chicken, rice, and broccoli, keto steak and mushroom bowl, protein packed Greek yogurt bowl, and added 1 scoop of protein powder. That, first of all, I big doubt that is going to give you 273 grams of protein, but it's not even that. Why the you eating almost the same amount of protein as you're eating carbs? That's insane. This is Delulu, okay? This is Delulu territory. What are we doing? This is not even sustainable. Someone set up a Chernobyl safety zone around this.
Trust.
Okay, so this guy is freaking out, man. This is actually good. I didn't realize that this whole video was like about our product, about little like tiny little screenshots of a teaser of the app. Guys, this was literally like a screenshot of a beta release of the app that wasn't even finalized. You think we spend so much time in this industry? We've made close to like 300 videos now about these topics. We've been in the gym for 5 years. We don't understand protein goals for body weight.
I mean, this dude would just have to go to our freely available videos and look at the actual ratios that we recommend and things like that. So,
all right, short intermission, and would you look at that? Someone bought our scam. Let's see if he asks for a refund. Guys, if he asks for a refund before the end of the video, then yeah, I'll admit this guy was right about everything.
Because this guy's about to let out the dirtiest farts that you've ever smelled in your life, okay?
That is
trying
true.
to build an aesthetic physique, bro. You're fucking Jupiter, okay? Gas giant out here.
Everything from your own.
Yeah, I don't know what this simple egg and avocado toast as a recipe. Are you retarded? If you need a recipe to tell you,
retarded if you do need a recipe for avocado toast.
Also, I mean, I don't want to have to like defend myself for everything because it's just stupid, but the cookbook is the set of meals that is applied to the plans. I'm giving a bit of the back end of how this works now because I actually built the app myself. I don't know why I did that, by the way, guys. I spent so much time trying to develop this app. I should have just got some company to do it. But the cookbook is simply just the meals that get applied to the diet plans. So the reason there is a lot of simple meals in the cookbook is because I want simple meals in the diet plan, right? We don't want to have to be making these super complex meals every single time we go to make a meal.
how to put an egg on avocado on toast. You might be cooked. You might be finished, brother. And instead of looking for advice on fitness, you should be looking for advice on how to find a caretaker.
Diet plan, training
Pull
plan.
day, deadlift, bent over row, pull-ups, face pulls, hammer curls.
I actually wanted to get into the fucking
And
video,
you're trying to
bro.
get specific. I don't know why we're doing deadlifts on a pull day, but whatever, we can get. It's not that deep. Leg day A, squat, RDL. Oh, okay. We're going to do deadlift 2 days in a row. And we're going to start with, was that 4 sets? And then 4 sets again for RDLs? Doing 8 sets back to back on 2 separate days of that.
I'm not even going to say it. All right, final time I'll say it. These are screenshots from a beta version that's not even the final product.
And also, you can customize and change any exercise that's in there.
Deadlifts. Not good. Again, these look hella AI generated to me. 45 minutes. Okay, it's good. You're not spending too long at the gym, but I doubt that that'll be enough, especially with that volume, but whatever.
Plan, training plan, and every single bit of information you need to know to build your dream physique.
Again, every single bit of information that you need to know is publicly available out there, okay? Again, I don't want to sound hate to these guys, but do not trust people that are selling you courses on info that is freely available out there, okay? It's not even like I gathered this data, so this is labor costs. There is no gathering necessary. Watch a YouTube video, okay? 10 steps to build an aesthetic physique, whatever, every single piece of information you're going to need is going to be out there. Maybe I'll start making videos on this too, but I don't want to focus too much on fitness.
Let's continue. And next we have level 2, which really isn't much better than level 1. This might look like a completely untrained physique, or you're stuck in a permabulk, 20% body fat plus. You're a roid cell, so you've done so much anabolic steroids where you show negative health markers, pimples, chronic acne, constant bloating. You just look like shit. Either you're skinny fat or you're skinny. So this isn't as bad as one rock bottom where you don't appeal to literally anyone. You might appeal to...
Again, bro, appealing to other people. I know the video's titled How People Treat You by Your Physique, okay? And I know, I guess, the goal of this is to appeal to other people, but there's more to your physique than your physique. And that might sound like speak, but that genuinely means something. There's a reason why in the gym you will find some of the nicest people that you have ever met. It's because you are already selecting for people that have the discipline to show up as much as they needed to build that physique. They have that internal motivation. They're not brain rotting or bed rotting the whole day. So you're already selecting for something, but that something isn't just attractive. It's not because you're jacked that you're going to be nicer, or it's not just because they're jacked that you feel like they're nicer. They're genuinely nicer people because they're just better personality, better mentality.
You get no validation without prompt, okay? So you are constantly having to ask for, do I look good? Does this shirt look good? You're constantly having to ask ask for compliments or even just slight validation.
Like, I feel like we're just gonna get the same shit over and over again. I feel like the video we just watched lays out a really good map to becoming a product to be rated, scored, and hopefully approved on a public market.
And unfortunately, that is what will happen to you every single day. I mean, I know this guy understood what I said by, yes, this is a superficial world, and he disagreed a little bit. But if you just look at it macro, okay, in the grand scheme of things, it is very superficial, this world, okay? You will be judged on your appearance quite a bit. Yes, obviously, you get judged on your personality, how you show up, all this other stuff. Yes, obviously, but as in the macro lens of things, a lot of what you get judged on is solely physical. So
yeah, I mean, this guy should understand this. That's why I said before, he's already an attractive guy, and even before his transformation, he was fine, realistically. So that's why maybe he can't fully comprehend or understand it. I think deep down he honestly does. But guys who have made a serious transformation, they're the ones who fully get it, who fully understand.
The philosophy we explore here on this channel is about something else entirely. It's about learning to draw your own blueprint. It's about making your body physical evidence of your discipline, the undeniable proof of your character forged rep by rep in private. The respect you earn from the world is simply an echo of the respect that you've already built for yourself. Remember that feeling we talked about at the start? Gnawing pain of being invisible, of feeling powerless. That entire system, their scorecard, keeps you chained to that feeling. It makes you a perpetual applicant.
okay, see, I don't want to like try tear this guy apart and be super critical, even though we spent half the video trying to tear apart, you know, a 5-second CTA of our program and try to like discredit our program. But it's so funny because he's saying like all this stuff about internal, and we mention this in every video, right? We pretty much mention it all the time, in the fact that you need to look internally to improve yourself, and then you'll get an outwards manifestation of the results in the external world. He's kind of just like dancing around the same idea. Like, yeah, you're like structuring this idea different, but it doesn't change the truth of the matter.
Tangible way to prove your agency to yourself, and it's the first declaration of sovereignty over your own life. You stop trying to build a body that will fix your life from the outside in. You start forging a man you can respect in.
Yeah, like the same mentality, just sort of repackaged. So he's kind of just saying it in like a different way. Like, I mean, obviously that's going to happen as a byproduct of you building a physique. So,
and just a little bit of like content advice to finish, you know, maybe we can provide some value to this guy. 130, 10 subscribers. Yeah, so if I was this guy and I wanted to, I mean, I don't know, he's severely against selling your own product apparently, so maybe he won't make an income off this stuff. But, you know, spending like pretty much half the video just trying to rip someone's program based off screenshots. I mean, I don't know how far you're going to get with your YouTube channel doing that.
Yeah.
I would have at least invested, you know, $27 into the program first to sort of understand it a bit better before I talked about it publicly on YouTube.
Yeah, so I was actually pretty disappointed with that reaction. He spent half the time just trying to rip our product. He didn't even fucking finish the video. He felt so emotionally involved with what I was saying that he couldn't even finish it. Yeah, I mean, I guess he made some good points. He agrees with us completely. He just doesn't really want to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to be said. I'm actually very disappointed. That made very bad content for you guys.
But yeah, if you do want to like react to our videos or you got something to say about it, I really do encourage you to make your own videos and put yourself out there on the internet and speak your opinion, man. I think a lot of people need to do that because I don't want this space to be an echo chamber. I think there's already too much of that. So, you know, I would rather guys like this come out and speak their opinion, and, you know, I will react accordingly, okay? So
this video, I'll see you in the next one. Check out the Substack if you haven't. Link in the description down below. I write articles.
These guys all realize eventually, like, they're either just doing this for a hobby or they will try to make some money from it eventually. And you can accept sponsorships with companies that don't fully align with your message. Maybe they do align with your message, or you can sell your own product that you back with your sole intentions. And that's the reason we've gone 100% into the school group, because that's where we believe we can make the most positive impact. And it's why we've cancelled our sponsorships and solely put our all into this product, because that's where we're aligned, right? That's what we want to do. We want to help people make transformations, and it's why people are making transformations. So this guy spent the whole time ripping the product, and I'm going to sell it to you at the end. Abso-fucking-lutely. First link in the description. Click that button there.
catch you in the next one, boys.
Peace.